Hey everybody, it's Alika Lifty, and today let's brew our Ethiopia Hambela Buku washed processed coffee as an espresso offering. We're going to do something a little bit different on espresso. I'm going to pull a manual shot of espresso on the Flare Pro home manual espresso maker. This was a gift from Flare Industries, as we will be collaborating with them, having a giveaway very shortly, so that you yourself can enjoy a very simple espresso at home. If you don't happen to win it, or if you are thinking about a Flare espresso maker, let's just talk a little bit about it as we whip ourselves up an espresso. So you can see this is very straightforward. Lever action, comes with a pressure gauge, so you can pull legitimate shots of espresso in your own home with very minimal equipment. All you need is a hot water kettle. You don't even need a spout, preferably a gram scale, and then a teeny tiny cup. It's really all you need. I'm going to give you some specifics so you can replicate it similarly in other home machines. But additionally, this Flare, even with a traditional home-sized basket, still pulls a little bit differently than some of those machines. One, we're dealing with a 16-gram basket, so you've got plus or minus. I would only go about plus or minus 1 gram with this machine, simply because I had much more inconsistency under 16 grams or over 16 grams. Part of it being we're dealing with a very tall puck, much taller ratio-wise than traditional espresso pucks, which leaves room for a lot of channeling, makes it more difficult to form that bed really evenly. Market for this, I imagine, this is much cheaper than most home espresso machines reaching full pressure. It's a little bit more work going into it, so I would recommend either taking classes or really diving deep into some educational materials if you're thinking about this, as to how to dial in your espresso, how to pull great shots, so that it doesn't feel like if you get a bad shot that you just wasted your time, because it is a little bit of a process. But it's clean, it's simple, and once you kind of get into the groove, it can be pretty quick to whip up some espresso drinks. All right, first things first, you're going to take your espresso chamber, deconstruct it so you have what is effectively your portafilter. Place this preheat cap on the base, and I'm going to fill this chamber with hot water, just off of boiling. Now, if you have a regular home espresso machine, you don't have to do this because you have a group head in your machine that is making everything hot already. As you can see, this thing has no electronic components. I have nothing heating anything up, and I want my energy from my hot water to be spent extracting my coffee, not heating up the equipment. So I've just tossed some boiling water into this sucker. I'm not going to touch it because it's really, really hot. And then now I'm setting my kettle down to 205 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really all we need for a good espresso. While that's going, we can grind our coffee. I've got my Hambela Buku. I've got 16 grams. We're going to extract about 40 grams out, and this should take around 25 seconds. Now, for those of you with a niche zero grinder, I ground this at 34.5. So you can have a really nice starting point for your grind size if you're pulling on a Flare or some of the low-tier Breville home espresso machines. I like to use the spout because it's going to be less mess even when you get channels. It's going to fall right into my glass. I've got a little nice, adorable little tamper and a funnel. So I've got my portafilter. It is dry. If it is not dry, grab yourself a rag, wipe it down, get your funnel, place it on, dose your coffee. Now we have a big pile. I need to distribute this. So first thing, I'm going to give it one tap down, get rid of any air pockets. Second, settle on the side. We're shimmying, getting everything nice and even, and then use your finger, just level out these grounds Give yourself a little bit of a valley. Make sure there's no cracks between the grounds and the side of the wall. And then once you're kind of pushing that pile around as much as you can with your finger, now it's time to tamp. Place it in straight and be sure not to lean into this machine. I'm tamping strictly with the force of my fingers until it feels level and I feel that pressure, because this is very tall. If I put the same amount of pressure as I did a commercial machine, it'd take me 6 minutes to pull the shot of espresso, and I don't have the endurance for that kind of thing. So I have my tamped coffee. I've got a seal in here. There you go, a little DQ check. I'm gonna place my screen flat side down on top of my nicely tamped espresso. And this now goes onto your machine. That is ready to go. Got my nice, super hot brew chamber right here. Dump it out. Now remove that bottom preheat cap. Place this straight on top of that. My water should be ready. I'm not measuring at this point. I'm just gonna fill up this chamber until it reaches the top. There we go. Place your pressure valve on so that you can see it. Turn on my scale. I'm gonna start my timer and start plunging at the same time. Now I'm first going to try to achieve 3 bars of pressure. And at 6, now I'm gonna try to maintain 9 bars. Taper off. There we go. All right, so that was about 25 or 24 seconds. And there's instructions on cleanup. You don't want to watch me clean this up. It's a little bit of a mess. But you can get some really good espresso out of this sucker. Maintaining pressure is a little difficult. You can see you got a little bit of drippage right here. Should have grabbed a rag. But I've got a nice shot of espresso. If this shot pulls too quickly, or I'm not able to maintain that pressure for long enough, it's a little bit sour, but still really sweet. It's just empty, a little woody. The other side of things, if it takes super long time to get this coffee out of here, and I'm pulling like 30, 34 seconds, then it becomes really astringent and drying, like really, really dark chocolate. But when we are balanced, we get that bright stone fruit. Citrus takes a little bit more of a front seat in here than it did in the filter. And we still get that nice floral black tea in the aftertaste. Enjoy.